Hello and welcome to Quays News. The time is 4 o'clock. I'm Megan Matthews.
And I'm Patrick Smith. Here's what's coming up on today's programme. 54 million disposable masks are thrown away every day in the UK. This week is Earth Week and reporter Georgia Scott has been investigating into this ecological problem.
Mancunian-born musician, presenter and TV personality Jay Skye is joining us live to chat about his new EP, Allah Mode.
And I'm here at the Water Sports Centre in Salford, Quays to find out about the world's fastest growing water sport.
Following the withdrawal of all 6 English clubs from the European Super League, there has been a mixed response from each individual team. Well, we can now hand over to our reporter Jack McKinnell, who is live from Old Trafford. So Jack, what's the latest over there? So it looks like we're having some technical difficulties there. We'll hopefully get back to Jack later in the show.
So moving on, today the Queen celebrates her official 95th birthday. This year the Queen will celebrate her birthday privately as she continues her 2-week mourning period. Sophia Samos has this special report looking at her celebrations over the years.
On this day every year since 1926, Queen Elizabeth II's official birthday has been marked by a gun salute in central London. This includes a 41-gun salute in Hyde Park, a 21-gun salute in Windsor Great Park, and a 62-gun salute at the Tower of London. But after being crowned in 1952, her birthday has been publicly celebrated on the second Saturday of June each year with the Trooping the Colour Parade. In past years, thousands would gather to celebrate her twice-annual birthdays, passing on flowers, gifts and best wishes. She is Britain's longest reigning monarch and to many is both a national treasure and the greatest symbol of Britishness.
I think she's a fantastic role model. The way that she's lived her life, and she's been a very wise ruler. It's a special birthday date and people want to celebrate that with her.
What I like about the Queen and why we love her is that, having taken on the role at a very young age, that she actually has stayed the same and constant and solid throughout her life.
Queen Elizabeth II to me is the best about the UK. I celebrate her birthday by watching documentaries while eating a cake I baked for the Queen's birthday.
Well, celebrities come and go, prime ministers win and lose, but there's one person that remains constant in our lives. She has been the rock or the cornerstone of this country in so many ways, and it's fantastic that she has reigned for as long as she has and led by example.
And for another superfan in Essex, it was a spontaneous trip to Sandringham that landed her a front row seat to see the Queen.
In 2005, I was with a friend. We drove into Wolverton, stopped the car, and we were out having a look at this new signal box that had been sort of done up. Out the corner of my eye, I saw this Land Rover coming towards me, and the car pulled over, and we just kind of stood because we were just getting ready to wave to her. We weren't intending to do any more than that. Discovered then it was her that was driving. I think her opening words were, "I bet I know why you're here." So she's worked out, we don't belong in the area, we've come from Scotland, but you don't know what to say. So we just said something about the village was looking lovely. She realised that she was actually blocking the road because there was a car waiting to come. And she just says, "Oh my goodness," and the door was shut and off she went.
And for another superfan in Essex, it was a spontaneous trip to Sandringham that landed her a front row seat to see the Queen.
Something really strange happened. My sister booked us a weekend away for New Year in 2019. We didn't know where we were going, just randomly picked this place, and it just so happens it was in Sandringham. We got up on New Year's Day and we were just going to go for a walk in the forest, and then the lady that ran the B&B actually said, "You know that because you're in Sandringham you can actually go to church with the Queen on New Year's Day?" And we were like, "You're kidding, we're going to church with the Queen?" We went to Sandringham, we managed to walk to the front and stand, and we watched all the royals walk past. The Queen came by car and the car pulled up right in front of me and my sister, and she got out and I just couldn't believe it. She was literally right in front of me. The next day we bought the Daily Mirror and my sister and I were in the Daily Mirror in front of the Queen and Prince Philip. But I did get a keepsake, so come with me. And I keep it on my fridge for the Queen. Happy 95th birthday, Queenie.
Today, the Queen will celebrate her first official birthday in 73 years without her late husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, who died on the 9th of April, aged 99.
Happy birthday.
With weather improving, more and more Brits are taking to the outdoors and trying their hand at water sports. Stand-up paddleboarding is the world's fastest growing water sport according to the Water Sports Participation Survey, recording the highest increase in participation, rising from 502,000 in 2008 to almost 1.4 million by 2018. Our reporter Jenny Macrith is live outside the Water Sports Centre in Salford, near our studio, to learn more about the sport.
Hello, yes, you join me live here from Salford Quays Water Sports Centre. I'm all booted up in my wetsuit, looking very lovely, ready to try the world's fastest growing water sport, which is stand-up paddleboarding. Now, this time last year, stockists were saying that they were really struggling to keep up with demand because there was a massive boom in the popularity of this sport. So I'm here to speak to one of the instructors, Sitara Bartle, about why this is so popular and how it works. So Sitara, how does this sport work?
So as you can see, we've got our paddle and we've got our board, fairly easy for a lot of people. These are the only two pieces of kit that you really need to go stand-up paddleboarding. And then it's just yourself with some appropriate wetsuit and a safety buoyancy aid. But that's it really, Jolie. So it's very, very easy.
And in terms of popularity, why do you think that there's been such a boom over the past few years?
Well, I think especially with the coronavirus and the lockdowns, it's a sport that's very, very accessible to a lot of people. So you've got your board, your paddle, and then it's just having the confidence. It's open to anyone of any ability. And I think when having celebrities like Orlando Bloom, Katy Perry, I think everyone's felt that spur on to go and try something new. You can get in contact with nature, getting in touch with nature and the outdoors. And I think it's just really important at the moment for us to spend that time with others.
Yeah, and in terms of accessibility, how easy is it to get hold of one of these boards? Are they quite expensive?
Yeah, so if you were to buy a stand-up paddleboard, they are quite pricey, but we would recommend that you'd buy either one new if you feel confident or a second-hand one. But of course, in somewhere like here in Salford Quays, you're in an enclosed environment, so you could rent out one. You could then develop your skills in an enclosed environment and then consider thinking about buying one.
And in terms of safety, you know, how do people make sure that they are participating in the sport in a really safe way?
It's a very good question. And I think if you start off with a water sports centre, or whether you're in an enclosed environment such as a lake or reservoir, you've got less to worry about. And you also always have supervision. You have a safety boat. So we would say to start off in a supervision in an environment like here. If you're then going coastally, make sure you tell someone if you're going on your own, or have a buddy. It's really, really helpful to have a buddy with you. But apart from that, I would say check your weather, make sure you're appropriately dressed, and enjoy the sport. You know, you don't have to risk yourselves. You can start standing up once you feel confident.
Shall we have a go now then? Let's go.
Sounds
Let's
good.
go. So what do I do?
So, yeah. That's it. If you grab your paddle from the side, yep, and kneel on two sides of the handle. Perfect.
Tomorrow is Earth Day, and the increased use of disposable face masks has become a cause for concern for many environmentalists. If everyone in the UK used a disposable face mask every day for a year, it would create 66,000 tonnes of contaminated plastic waste, according to a study by University College London. Georgia Scott reports.
This is now an essential part of our daily routine, but while these face masks might be protecting us, the same can't be said for the environment.
This morning I counted 8 face masks on the floor, and it's just atrocious, and I don't think people understand the impact of litter. I don't think they realise that litter doesn't go away. It's staying there for as long as we live, and generations and generations and generations ahead.
But the people I spoke to today had no issue with wearing them.
You can buy them in packs, so if you ever lose one, they're easier to get like another one. get what I mean, a bit more convenient and cheaper.
Do you worry about their impact on the environment at all? Has it not really crossed your mind?
In all honesty, probably not with all the COVID stuff. It's more just like, I think it's kind of overtaken that where I'm just like, wear a mask no matter what.
Really, they're readily available. I think it's just more of ease. I've never really gone out of my way to buy one because I think I've just always had like a disposal one at hand, basically.
We get rid of around 54 million of these a day. They're made from a plastic called polypropylene, which means we can't recycle them. So they take around 450 years to biodegrade completely, according to Waste Free Ocean, a charity. So the issue is if they end up in the wrong place. They're lightweight, so the wind can carry them easily, and the straps here can easily entangle animals as well. So the guidance is use a reusable one or cut the straps before you bin it to prevent animals from getting caught, and then put them in a safe and secure bin. Some people have felt so concerned by this issue that they've taken matters into their own hands.
The mask is 100% biodegradable, and it's made from rice paper. It's really thin, and there are 2 layers, and in between the seats there are the seats, so you can see them. The mask is more than only a mask, it's also a message. I wanted to do something positive, like, okay, let's bloom the world instead of pollute the world. And this is a way to do it, because everybody needs a mask in these days. So yeah, let's do something good with them after wearing them.
Like it or not, one thing's for certain, these masks are here to stay. So the problem remains as long as they do.
Well, we now have Jack live from Old Trafford. So, Jack, what's the latest with the Super League?
Well, recent news from the UEFA president, Alexander Sefin, said that it's time for clubs to move on. He's admirable, for the clubs stepping up and admitting to their mistake. We know that the Super League now has only 3 teams remaining. That's Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus. Late last night, about 7 p.m, Chelsea were the first to start on the paperwork to get out of the European Super League. Soon after followed City, and then later on Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal and Tottenham all followed. But these clubs feel betrayed. The sign behind me says Reds go marching on. And unfortunately, how can Manchester United or other clubs for that matter keep going on without the support of his fans? Speaking outside recently to a fan, he said that he believed it was Boris and Keir Starmer working together trying to put legislation in place that was the real main downfall for this Super League. But it's not as easy as that, unfortunately. Perez, the chairman for Real Madrid and also the chairman for the Super League, has said that these teams have signed contracts. They are binding. They are bound to this league. So there might be legal obligations in place. And also the other 14 teams haven't decided yet as to whether there should be more repercussions for these teams or whether to let it slide now that they have gone back to the Premier League.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how that will unfold with Perez. I'll be following that like a hawk.
I mean, who wouldn't be? Now a look at some national stories.
Boris Johnson has come under fire in Parliament after a text conversation with entrepreneur James Dyson at the start of the pandemic was exposed. The messages said he would fix tax laws for the billionaire to help with UK ventilators production.
Calls have been made to change laws on air pollution following the death of a 9-year-old girl. Ella Adukisi-Deborah, who lived in Lewisham, died in 2013, and an inquest found that air pollution made a material contribution to her death. In the past hour, we have received news that the US Justice Department have announced a probe into Minneapolis police practices following the verdict of the George Floyd murder trial. US President Joe Biden said the conviction of Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd can be a giant step forward in the march towards justice in America.
The systemic racism is a stain on our nation's soul. The knee on the neck of justice for Black Americans.
After a year of being locked indoors, our lifestyles have changed drastically and the earth has had a chance to heal. Zoe Toes has been looking at how Salford moves towards a green future with new eco-friendly transport options across the city.
The pandemic has given us the opportunity to pause.
listen to the world and rethink our modern lifestyles. Busy streets and congested roads are being reimagined into greener and more sustainable spaces in a fight against the climate emergency. At the end of last year, Salford Council partnered with the company Lime UK to trial the use of legalised e-scooters. Now, expanding across Media City and Ordsall, the scheme is offering an affordable, socially distanced and green transport solution.
Sustainable development is really important to us. We're a growing city, fastest growing in Greater Manchester, but it's important that development takes place in a context where we can try and help people to reduce their carbon footprint and improve the quality of the air that we've got. It was important when we were looking at the various different companies that were bidding that this wasn't about trendy young people. This was about encouraging different forms of sustainable travel. And what we're trying to do throughout the year-long pilot is to reduce about 100,000 kilometres of car mileage.
The scooters cost £1 to unlock and then 15 pence per minute to rent, but Lima put policies in place that ensure that everyone has an opportunity to give them a go. Essential trips are free for key workers, any self-declared low-income users can get 50% off their rides, and the Ride to Recovery scheme offers free travel if you're attending a COVID vaccination.
It's obviously very important for us that it's affordable for everyone, but it's about including the whole community in the scheme. The reason why the scheme is important for Salford is because it shows there's popularity for it, but also it shows it's a meaningful transport option and it would work at scale as well, which is critical. When you look at Lime, you look at the products we provide, it's environmentalism, but without the compromise. I like the environment and I like riding e-scooters. I'm going to ride an e-scooter instead of a car.
And so far, the scheme has proven to be very popular. To date, Salford e-scooter stats have recorded 32,712 trips, equaling a total distance of 73,645 miles travelled across the city. The data from the trials will be used to decide the future of e-scooter regulation, and if all goes well, cars may have to scoot aside for a greener future.
This Friday is St George's Day. Our reporter, Anna Cooper, has been finding out how people from all across the world celebrate this festival.
Thousands of people lined the streets of Manchester in 2019 to celebrate England's legendary dragon-slaying patron saint. The 23rd of April is St George's Day. The saint was known for his honour, bravery and gallantry, and communities across the country revelled in festivities and waved the St George's flag. St George is celebrated all across the world, and in Ethiopia he is honoured on the 23rd of each month.
It's to commemorate the day that he saved the girl from the dragon, Tide. So it's a very big celebration. So people are just going there, dancing, chanting, celebrating St. George. During the time of the Battle of Adwa, the end of the 19th century, we had a battle against the Italians. They took the St. George Ark, the replica of the Ark of the Covenant, and of course, St. George also killing the dragon was taken to the battle, all the way to the battle. So it's considered to be a very special saint.
In Catalonia, St. George's Day is combined with World Book Day and Valentine's Day.
So there is like a legend behind that, and the legend involves a kingdom that was like frightened by a dragon. So then there comes the knight and kills the dragon and like saves the princess. And from the blood of the dragon, flowers appear, like red roses appear from the blood. It's like there are a lot of activities apart from like going around and looking for some books. Like there are concerts also.
Back in Manchester, these streets in Mars Platting, where this year's parade would have kicked off, are now empty. On Saturday the 24th of April, a virtual parade will take place, with organisers desperate to see the streets of Manchester filled once again.
Isn't it interesting to see how St George is celebrated across the world, eh?
It really is. As we approach life getting back to normal, you may be desperate to go and watch some live music. But for some people, going to big music events isn't an easy experience, and one music student is trying to change this. Izzy Bushell has more.
As the roadmap out of lockdown continues, we are getting closer to being able to attend music concerts. But while we've been stuck indoors, we have been able to watch live music from our screens. Safe with Sound is an organisation that provides virtual live stream concerts on Facebook and YouTube every week. But it wasn't lockdown that kick-started this.
So the whole premise of Safe with Sound is to make sure live music is accessible for everybody, no matter what their disability is or whatever might be holding them back, whatever barriers they might face. What I'm trying to do is eliminate those barriers so those people can go to live music and work in the industry or volunteer in the industry.
Another reason why Maddie set up the organisation is that she's had to face barriers of her own.
I have cerebral palsy. It's very mild. I remember the first time I went to a gig that was standing. I was standing and I thought, oh my God, like this is the best experience ever, but I am in so much pain and nobody can help me because there's nowhere to just go and perch at a gig, really. So one barrier I face is like people just not being able to understand or notice that I need help. I don't want that to be another barrier for other people in the industry, whether you can tell that they have a disability, whether that's mental or physical or anything.
Although virtual concerts have been a big help for many people like Maddie who find attending big music events quite difficult, is there more that music venues could do to make attending concerts and gigs easier for people when we can eventually go out to enjoy live music in person again?
We do personal carers tickets. If you need to bring a personal carer, they can come in for free. Although it's a standing venue, you know, we can, if you need to be seated, we can put a little seat at the side of the stage for you. We have the live shows are projected onto a screen upstairs, so if you don't want to be in the crowd, we can reserve a sofa for you up there, and you can watch it on the screen and hear it in real time. A member of our security staff is British Sign Language trained. We work hard to make it as accessible as it can possibly be. Because we believe live music's for everyone.
Maddie aims to help more music venues open up more facilities for people with any disability to create a safer space for people to enjoy live music in person when we come out of lockdown.
Coming up now, we have a very special guest here to talk to us about his new EP. Jay Skye is a Mancunian-born musician, presenter and TV personality who you may know from shows like First Dates and Naked Beach. He is here to talk to us about new music and how he uses fashion as a form of expression.
'Cause you've been on my mind every single night. You got me. If you want me, you know you drive me crazy, baby. Come into my life, I make it all so right. I just want you.
Welcome to Quays News, Jay Skye. How are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Manchester.
Good afternoon, Manchester, indeed. So the clip that we just watched was from your new single, Want You, which fronts your EP, A La Mode. What was the inspiration behind the song?
Gosh, initially it was just about someone that I liked, but it's just, I was on a drive to make music that was...
Oh, sorry about that. I think we might have lost some connection. Are we back? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
can you
hi.
hear me?
Sorry, you froze a little bit there. Sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties. We got to me asking you about your inspiration and then it cut flying.
No, not a problem at all. These things happen. The inspiration behind the record, I wanted to create something that was very upbeat, up-tempo, fashion forward, something that I could imagine in a club and on a catwalk, but also something that was catchy.
No, absolutely. And I mean, in terms of the creative process behind the EP, was it at all interrupted by lockdowns and coronavirus and stuff? Because I know that you started, am I right in thinking you started working on the album before the pandemic?
I had a couple of the tracks already out, and then during the pandemic I wanted to continue to record, so I transformed my bedroom into a recording studio. I sourced new producers over the internet, negotiated contracts myself, and I was lucky enough to be working from home still, so I saved up my money, and I got in touch and I bought the rights to some new music, got some new musicians involved, and I just did it all over the internet, and this is the fruit of my loin.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you're known for your dress sense and enigmatic personality. And am I right in thinking that you just wrote a chapter for a book on the expression of self in fashion for children?
Yeah, that's right. So I was on a show called Naked Beach, and one of the other hosts that did the show with me, Molly Forbes, has brought out her debut book. It's called Body Happy Kids, and she asked me to do a guest chapter on that about the relationship that children have with clothes and how they navigate body image and some of the pressures that they have to overcome as well. So very happy to be a part of that.
No, absolutely. And I mean, we've seen a lot in the media recently about the need to sort of challenge gender confinement in clothing and in fashion. I know that Harry Styles recently made headlines for this, and more recently Kid Cudi, who wore a dress on Saturday Night Live. In your personal style, do you aim to challenge gender confinements and ideals, or is it more a way of self-expression?
I do like to ruffle feathers, I'm not going to lie. For me, it's definitely a form of rebellion. It's just, I've always been fascinated how people can treat me differently depending on what I wear. Like, I work in an office, so I'll wear a suit when I go to work. When I go to spinning fields, I get treated really well. But then if I'm to wear something a little bit more out there, depending on the setting, I might not get that same level of love and respect. So I'm happy to challenge that and to challenge how people interpret our appearances. There's still a lot of room for people to grow in terms of acceptance. And artists such as Harry Styles, who are straight, identifying obviously, and also Kid Cudi, I think it does raise a lot of questions as well as instruct the flow of what people might expect from artists like that. But at the same time, they get a lot of privilege with what they do. So we've still got work to do, basically.
No, absolutely. And I think it's so important to have models in our sort of like media circle that all show that sort of rejection of those gender confinements and do it in such a comfortable way, if that makes sense. I mean, going back to your music, is there an overall message that you want listeners to understand from your sound and from your creative drive?
I mean, every song, it tells a story. Like, I like a lot of dance music and I like a lot of R&B music, but I don't always like the lyrics. I usually like the music more than the lyrics, so I try to do something where the music and the lyrics are actually just as good as each other. I don't want people just to be bobbing their head in agreement with something that I don't think is ultimately good for this planet.
Yeah, I can now.
So I've got a track on the EP called Myself, which is my self-love anthem, and that is just literally a load of affirmations that I wrote that you can literally sing to yourself in front of a mirror.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. I feel like we all need a bit of that, especially coming out of this third lockdown now. We all need a bit of self-love. And you were filming a music video over the past weekend. Were you filming for a song on the EP?
Yeah, so over the weekend, I shot a new video for one of the tracks on the EP, which is called Easy. I had to shoot it in Manchester because I just felt that it was an important thing for me to do in terms of representing the city with this track. It's a sassy track, and I wanted to challenge also images of gender again through the way that I'm dressed in this video. It's a very short track, but at the same time, there was a lot of work to get done with it. But I'm excited to see what happens with it, yeah.
No, absolutely. And you have, I feel like quite a lot of your songs have a lot of double meanings, and your song Out was one of my favourites from the EP. Could you sort of explain a bit of the meaning behind that?
Yeah, Out was my secret weapon in a lot of ways. I wanted to do a record that was all about the fun of being out there and being your true authentic self. So it's very much about the gay experience, but it's written in a way where people who don't identify as LGBTQ+ will still get reverence from it because it's about enjoying the moment.
No, absolutely. And it is it's a bit of a club anthem. Do you know what I mean? I read somewhere, and I have to ask as a RuPaul's Drag Race super fan, I heard somewhere that Bob the Drag Queen is a fan of yours, and I have to know if it's true or not.
Bob the Drag Queen is an absolute legend, and in the build-up to Want You Going Out, I got a few video messages of support, including one from a local drag queen called Cheddar Gorgeous. But yeah, Bob the Drag Queen, when I saw that video, I was over the moon because he's someone who I respect a lot.
No, he's honestly the greatest, so completely. I know this is the ever-daunting question, but what's next for Jay Skye?
Oh gosh, there's lots on the horizon. I've just landed my own weekly show on Gadio, so every Monday from 7 till 9, I've got my own show there. I'm still a regular for BBC Radio Manchester as well. And then obviously we've got this new video for Easy, which should be out around the summertime. But obviously in the background, I'm always working on other things as well, so watch this space.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jay Skye. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, so thank you very much for watching and have a good rest of your day.
his questions. The questions were probably shite. Oh, fuck me.